Okay, today I want to review a graphics monitor that I picked up shopping on Amazon, and it's the UGEE HK1560. It's a 15.6 inch IPS screen HD resolution graphics monitor with it comes with two rechargeable pens and a drawing glove and a screen protector, but that's not really what I want to do with this review. You can see lots of unboxing videos of this particular product. It's packed really well. So what I want to do is, first of all, I'm going to show you how it works for me as a second monitor, because I was really impressed with the screen quality. It's a great picture, it's high definition. I was using an old sort of Samsung digital TV as a second monitor, but this blows it out of the water because it's obviously much better for crisp text and things like that. So I'm going to set up my other camera over my shoulder so that I can show you how I use it as a second monitor first of all. Over my shoulder, so I'm sorry about the weird angles, but I wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like when you're using it as an additional monitor. So I've got my setup here, and as you can see here, I've got a word processing piece of software that I can do my writing in. I also do videos. I make educational videos, so I can have my script here while I'm editing my videos, so that I can go through and make sure that I've got everything sorted out. I can have my software across here, the graphic software. This particular one is Affinity Photo, which I've been playing around with, which is really neat. So I can have that there and use it as a monitor, as well as when it comes to doing the painting and the drawing, I can get it down and do some painting and drawing on it. So if I'm doing work which involves the mouse more than anything for editing purposes or just reviewing things, I can have it across here and I can drag things backwards and forwards. So I can work on as I say, in my word processor or in an piece of art software. I've also got Clip Studio Paint, which I like to use, and I've been using it only very recently. I got back into digital painting. So this was just a little rough painting that I did from a photograph of my dad, and I was just really trying out the brushes and just the general feel of Clip Studio Paint, and I was really happy with it. But I can drag things across, so I can have it on this monitor. And as I say, I'm really just talking now about this as a monitor. It's a really excellent second monitor for anyone who's interested in having two monitors together. So, you know, I've got my browser open here, I've got other bits of software on here, so it's just handy to have those two together. So as a monitor, I really like it. It works really well. It's very crisp, it's very clear, and one of the interesting things, you might not be able to see it in this video, but if I maybe just minimize a couple of these things just so that you can just see the colors. Often what people have said is that the colors don't match. I've calibrated this. It's not that difficult to calibrate. I calibrated it and it's pretty much identical to my iMac in terms of the color calibration. You use the software that comes with it to calibrate, and there are buttons on the side of the monitor that you can, it's basically to get the colors right, you have to go into change the color temperature, and that just gets you to match the colors up. When you open it up and you start it right away, though, you will see a difference in the colors, but as soon as you calibrate it, it's magnificent. It's just really crisp. The colors are pretty much identical to one another. So when I'm working on the iMac, what I see on there is what I see on the UGEE display. So I'm really happy with that. But anyway, I want to get into the actual graphics monitor now, and how that works out for me and what I think of it. I've switched to mirror the displays now because it's easier for you to get an idea of what this graphics monitor is capable of if I'm working directly onto it rather than filming it via my iPhone over my shoulder. So this is Clip Studio Paint. That is my preferred graphics software, and you'll see that if I paint a wavy line. The pressure sensitivity is really great. That's just light, and then as I strengthen it, it gets darker. It's very accurate. There's very little lag, if any. You can get into the little nooks and crannies as you want. If you want to get really accurate, with the software you can zoom in, and that makes it a lot kind of easier to deal with. But you can get very accurate line accuracy. And as I say, the pressure sensitivity is just amazing, so that you really get an idea of what it's like to paint with an actual brush. So if you go into pencil, it's very accurate again, you can see. There's virtually no parallax. If using it, where you place your pen is exactly where the line goes. So there's no inaccuracy in terms of line and precision, because they are very much in sync with one another. There's not a problem at all as far as I'm concerned with parallax. It all works really well together. The line is just great. It's really good. As I say, if you're using a pencil, you can do very light to very dark as you put the pressure on, as you would if you were working pencil on paper. It's a very good, accurate representation of what it's like to draw on paper. Initially, of course, you've got to get used to the fact that you're effectively drawing on glass, but I don't find that a problem at all. It's just something that your brain gets used to, and you can get really fine detail as you go in. As you want to, whatever it is you're trying to do, you can get very fine detail. And of course, what you have to take account of is the graphics software itself can help you with that, because you've got different opacities. So I'm just putting the same pressure now, but you'll see that the line is getting darker as I move up through the opacity of the software. So that's the software that's controlling that, but at the same time I'm on maximum opacity now for that line. But if I change the pressure, you'll see it's lighter, then gets darker. So it's a really good action. As I say, it's very flowing, it's very crisp. You can get real good accuracy with the lines that you're drawing. So this UGEE 1560 monitor is absolutely amazing. I really love it. It gives you great accuracy. When you're drawing, you can see there, I can go from line to line and there's no gap at all. It just gives you what you see is what you get. Where you place your cursor is where you need it and where you want it to be. It's just an amazing piece of equipment. This monitor really works well for me. It's the nearest and the closest you can get to working on paper or canvas with paints or with pencils. It's just absolutely amazing. And as you can see, there's no lag. Where you place your pen is where your line begins. It's very accurate. There's no point having any decent graphics software if you're not going to have a decent graphics tablet. And as far as I'm concerned, this UGEE 1560 is a really decent piece of equipment. It's a solid build. You get 2 pens. They are rechargeable, but that's not a problem to me. Some people feel it is a problem, but I really can't see why it's a problem. One's on charge while I'm using the other, and if it should run out, and hasn't run out of battery charge in the last 2 weeks since I've had it, if it does, the other one's on charge, take it off, swap them, use it as you go along. So you're not going to get caught out by the fact that it's rechargeable rather than a non-battery one. Yeah, it's great. It really is good. Crisp, sharp, really good colours, real good sensitivity. All round, just, I would say, an absolute great graphics monitor. I'm really happy with it. Some people have said, you might have read reviews where they say that it gets hot. Well, I can tell you it doesn't get as hot as my iPad or my iPhone, and certainly not as hot as the iMac, because anything that's got, that's using a display is going to get warm up to a certain point, but it doesn't get hot. It's not at all off-putting. That it just gets a little bit warm along the top here, but that doesn't affect at all. And the other thing is that you do get, it comes with a little glove like this that you can put on. It looks a bit weird, but it's quite handy actually. I should have been using it, but so you get this little glove so that it protects the screen, but it also allows for smoother movement. So as you move across the screen, you're getting a decent sort of easy flow of what you're doing. And I honestly have to say I don't notice anything about a heat problem, and especially considering that I have this on quite a lot because I use it as a second display. So not at all, no problem as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so look, I can't really, I don't know what else to say about this other than I give it 5 stars. I'm really happy with it. The build quality is good, for a graphics tablet that allows for you to work accurately and simulate painting and drawing. It's just amazing. I'm really happy with this. In terms of value, it's great value. It's a fraction of the cost as a Wacom, Cintiq and that kind of thing that most people tend to think are at the top of the range. This is a real contender, and you might get some folks that say it's not, but you just have to take that risk sometimes. And I did all the research. I looked at lots of reviews. I looked at the specs, and I went for this, and I'm more than happy that I did. Really happy with it. It's a great piece of equipment. As I say, I ordered it from Amazon. It came next day delivery. It was packed really well. I got an email from the suppliers that supply it through Amazon, which is a company called PNBoo Tech, and they got in touch with me and asked how things were. I did have to email them and just say, could they help me out with in terms of how I altered the color temperature using these buttons at the side, and they got back to me right away in order to tell me how to do that. And I'm just more than happy with the service and also with the performance. It's a great piece of kit. Anyway, thanks for watching. What more can I say? Just get yourself one. They're a joy.